Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. I've seen many people debating here online whether the concept of metabolic damage is real. That is, your body becomes more efficient when in a calorie restricted mode. Say you're calorie restricting for a long time, or doing some kind of juice fast or water fast or master cleanse, things where you're eating way fewer calories than you ought to be. While the body in its wisdom becomes more efficient, it doesn't need as much food, it burns fewer calories to get you through the day. Well, the thing is, when you start eating food again, your body doesn't automatically re-up your metabolism. It stays slow, and therefore it's easier to put on weight, or at least harder to keep the weight off. That's the theory. So this very theory was put to test. Researchers tracked down contestants from The Biggest Loser 6 years later. The results were published in the most recent Journal of Obesity, and the results are quite shocking. All but one of these contestants 6 years later have put significant weight back on, and a third of them have put on even more weight than where they started at when the show began. What accounts for this weight gain? Well, it turns out they had metabolic damage. Well, the researchers called it metabolic adaptation, but it's the same exact principle as metabolic damage. The metabolism of these people, back when they were doing that rapid weight loss on the show, did slow down. But one would think it would just back up later as time went on to their new body weights. No, not at all. Their metabolism remained slow throughout the 6 years, explaining why they were gaining the pounds. A great example of this is Danny Cahill. He won that whole season for losing the most weight. Before the show, he started out at 430 pounds, extremely obese, morbidly obese. But at the finale, 191 pounds, just barely 10 pounds more than what I weigh. That is crazy. But since then, he's gained over 100 pounds. He weighs about 295 pounds now. But he's damaged his metabolism. His metabolic rate is messed up. He now burns 800 fewer calories a day than would be expected for a man of his size. We might be able to learn a lot by what did these people do that was so extreme on the show to lose this weight that their metabolisms are still suffering 6 years later. Well, on Danny's website, he has a Q&A page, and he offers a lot of insight here as to what he's been doing and what he is currently doing. Well, back on the show, they restricted these guys' calories severely down to about low 2000s. But people can get by on that, I suppose, but not with the kind of exercise regime they were forced to do on the show, burning upwards of 9,000 calories a day, yet eating 2,200? So what was he eating to get these 2,200 calories that powered him through these big days of massive training? Well, here on his Q&A page, he shows an example day of what he ate back then, and I know I would feel like crap, not only because it's a bunch of meat, but it's just not enough calories. Like for breakfast, he's doing like several workouts in the morning, and an egg or two and a piece of fruit and toast is supposed to fuel that. I don't know, I'd have a heck of a lot of trouble. Then his clean protein, eating his meat and his fish and all that, and more protein meat again for dinner. This is sure sounding familiar. It's starting to sound like a high protein, low carb, calorie restricted meal plan. In fact, the last words he says there, he's watching his calories. So someone asked basically, hey, what's your macronutrient ratio? And it's off the charts crazy on protein. The WHO recommends 5 to maybe 8% of your calories from protein, while your average American gets double that, about 16% of their calories from protein, and he gets even more than double that, a sky-high 35% calories from protein, and only 45% of your calories from carbs. We try to get 80% of our calories from carbs, and that's probably why people on high protein, calorie restricted diets don't feel all that great, because they're not getting enough glucose and glycogen in their system. Anyway, back to the protein here. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to slim down, why in the heck are they mimicking a diet, a macronutrient ratio that's known to make you swole? Sumo wrestlers, bodybuilders, weightlifters, they're doing high protein diets, and look at their results. Why are you trying to go that direction for? It doesn't make any sense. It turns out these contestants are following dietary advice given by Jillian Michaels, that trainer lady on the show.
But I'll be honest with you, when I went vegan, I felt terrible. And my concern is that for the masses, they don't know how to do this. It's not accessible for them. I don't think they have the knowledge to do it. And so I feel like there's a middle ground. I do grass-fed beef.
Well, people say, hey, she's fit, she has great results. Well, is that why she got completely decimated in the Malibu triathlon, getting passed by wounded 80-years-olds?
So I'm trying to swim, and I'm floating in the water.
There's like 80-year-olds going past me. There's wounded warriors flying past me.
Not surprising at all. So first of all, what could these contestants do now that they've caused metabolic damage? Well, first of all, they could avoid Jillian's diet advice, like here, where she recommends having eggs and meat and dairy at every friggin' meal. And instead of having 35% of your calories come from protein and severely restricting all day, I think it'd be interesting to see what would happen if some of these contestants down the line here now switch to a diet like ours, a high carb, low fat, low protein, vegan diet, a whole food plant-based diet in other words, and eat till you're full. Because I've read more stories here how these contestants are miserable, living on 1,400 calories, maybe 2,000 if they're lucky, and still gaining weight. So I really would like to see how this would work out with their metabolic damage, switching to a diet that's more conducive, one that's known, one that's been shown to produce some of the thinnest and fittest people in the world.
But the only group that's right in the smack in the middle of the healthy weight range is the vegans.
I don't know if all diets cause metabolic damage, but it showed if you undergo an extreme diet like that, to go from 400 pounds down to my weight in just a few months by extreme workouts and extreme calorie restriction and fasting, that does indeed, science shows, produces this metabolic damage, and what's even worse, it lasts a hell of a long time. Who knows if it's ever going to change? It hasn't improved for them in 6 years, so it might be a permanent thing. So there's something to consider if you're thinking about doing crash diets, which we are totally 100% against. Even, perhaps, fasting, juice fasting, water fasting can cause us to. I don't know, I'd like to see some science on it. My advice again, whole food, plant-based diet for the win. That's how I went from 240 pounds to my current, 180 pounds. And I haven't had this problem. I've been in my current weight for, 5-6 years now? I don't go up and down. I guess I didn't cause any metabolic damage by losing weight in a healthy way over the long term. So post your questions and comments down below. What do you think about this Biggest Loser diet? Do you think it's a bunch of crap and this metabolic damage that comes for it? I think so too. I think they should switch to a high-carb, vegan diet and go with that. I like this video. If you got something out of it, share it with a friend who watches The Biggest Loser, and subscribe for more from me and Angie here at Happy Healthy Vegan. So until next time, as I wish upon all these contestants here on The Biggest Loser, keep it carb, baby, keep it carb. I'm talking to you too, Julian.
Because I've gone vegan, okay, and I am an animal lover. I do grass-fed beef.